Well, hello friends, and welcome to episode 3 of Worship on Wheels. And I had a friend this week. It's funny. He asked me about stress. He said, you know, Coach, and this guy's young. He is one of those guys that is a hard-working dude. He is trying to get into a military academy and that sort of thing. And he was telling me, I'm stressed out to the max, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to handle all this. And he asked me a question about my job that I used to do, and I was in the air traffic industry, for those of you who don't know. And back then, air traffic controllers had the #2 suicide rate of any career. #1 was dentistry, by the way. Kind of weird, huh? I don't know what makes dentistry so stressful, but apparently it is. I guess no one likes the dentist. I don't know. But he asked me, through years and years of stress, you had this high stress job. Your first wife died of cancer. You've gone through a ton of stuff in your life, and you always seem to land on your feet. What are you doing right? You're obviously doing something right. And I explained to him, you know, a certain amount of stress in your life is really a good thing, and too much stress is really a bad thing. And so what we have to learn to do is create the proper stressors and decrease the improper stressors. Now that sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? It really does. But it's really, it is simple. It's just not easy. So over the next few weeks, we're going to unpack how to live a less stressful life. You know, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry right now on stress management. And I asked my father years ago, when he was probably 86 years old, Dad, do you think life is more or less stressful now than it was when you were a boy? Or do you think we're just more weak? His answer surprised me. He said the world is more stressful. There's stress everywhere you go. Every time you turn on the TV, you turn on the computer, it's in your email. It's everywhere, and you can't escape it anymore. And so the world has become more stressful, and it gives us less ability to release the stress because we're doing less. Things are more convenient, and due to that convenience, we're sitting around more. We're dealing with weight, which is another stress, right? So all of these things put together. So I'm going to talk about the difference between a good stress and a bad stress today. And we're just going to start with a couple of simple little things you can do. So I'm going to tell you a story about making a cup of coffee. Now, you've seen the little espresso makers you put up on your stove top, right? And they have a little pressure valve on the side of them. And you put coffee in it, and you put your water in there, and it makes you an espresso, or a Cuban coffee is what I was making. So one morning I get up to make a cup of coffee with that thing, and I didn't check the pressure valve. So I start making my coffee, and all of a sudden I'm like, the water should be coming up through the top of it now. Let me open the lid and just kind of look down in there. As I reached out to grab the espresso maker, it blew up. And when I say it blew up, it blew up like a bomb, man. It was boom. It sounded like a gun going off in my kitchen. And Coach Vic was asleep at the time, and I yelled, and my face was on fire, guys. It was on fire. I felt like I'd been shot with a shotgun. And immediately I laid down in the floor. I had my glasses on, thank goodness. I laid down in the floor, and Coach Vic is like, what was that noise? And I said, my coffee maker just blew up, and I'm laying in the floor. I think I'm going into shock. And she goes, what? I said, just let me lay here a minute. Just give me a minute, and I'll let you know. If you don't hear me talk to you in the next few minutes, come in here, because I've got something going on right now, but I'm fine for the moment. So I laid there a few minutes, and as I got up, I decided I'm going to get up and put cold water on my face. And at this point, I'm thinking there could be shards of metal in my face. I had no idea. So I washed my face, and guys, I was covered in coffee. You could see the shape of where the hot coffee grounds had hit my face around my glasses. My face was all red and strawberry looking. And when you looked at the cabinets behind me that were 10 feet away, they were covered in coffee. We have a vaulted ceiling. Coffee grounds were on the wall in the next room. It was everywhere. So what's the purpose of this story? Uh-oh. This is stress right here, huh? Got a car in the ditch. Oh, he was just turning around, snapping a Yui. So the reason for that story, though, is this. If you have the proper amount of stress, man, it can make a great cup of coffee. And with the improper amount of stress, you just have a bomb that blows up in your face. You're the coffee pot, by the way. And with the right amount of stress in your life, and with it handled properly, you're gonna make everyone's world just a little nicer. They're gonna be a little more warm in the morning, and they're gonna be a little more awake and a little more vibrant, all because of you. But if you allow that stress to creep up and build up, and you don't release that valve, you're just gonna blow up. And it doesn't matter how hard you try, you're just gonna damage things. Not only are you gonna blow up in the face of the person that is trying to love on you, you're gonna blow up on everything in the room and in the next room. Yes, you are. You know, the book of 1 Peter, it's chapter 5, verse 7 says, cast your cares upon him, because he cares about you. Cast your worries upon him, because he cares about you. You know, there again, that sounds very easy to just say, hey God, take these burdens away from me. But one of the things that we have to do when we give them to God is we have to let them go. That's a hard thing to do, because we want to control them. We want to defend ourselves, right? We want to prove to everyone that we're doing it right. And sometimes you just have to let it go and release that stress. You know, there are physical things that we can do to release that stress. Now, of course, we talk about exercise. You hear me talk about that a lot, right? Get up early in the morning. You know, the Bible talks, and there's hundreds of verses about getting up early in the morning and, you know, getting up and spending that time with God, that time in prayer. You know, I had a buddy of mine that is an atheist, and he said, Bob, I'm not a man of faith. Praying is silly to me. And I said, do you ever just talk to yourself when you're stressed out? Do you ever just let it go? Or do you just let it cook inside you like a boiling pot of coffee? And he goes, man, I talk to myself all the time. Pray. Just pray. If you don't think your prayer makes it past the ceiling, release that. You know, the Bible says you'll find me when you search for me with all your heart. Search. Pray. That prayer will make it will make a difference in your life, even if you're an unbeliever. Because that time, that quiet time, that calm time, it's essential for the proper balance and the release of stress. So that prayer time, it has a purpose. You know, the Bible says, be still and know that I am God. If you're exhausted, you can't even do that. You'll just fall asleep. You have to get enough rest in order to do the simple things. You have to do enough exercise to do the simple things. You have to do enough of reading to do the simple things. So where are you with your stress? We're going to be doing this, like I said, over the next few weeks. We're going to be doing some brass tacks, how to really get rid of some stress in your life. Some real simple things that really, in the end, are not only simple, they're quite easy. But what they all require is one thing: self-control. So I hope this week that you cast your cares upon him, because he does care about you, and so do I. Know that, my friends, you indeed are loved. want you to go out with a big smile on your face and change the world. We'll talk to you real soon.